Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing my weekly recap for my heaviest week of training that I've had leading up to the North American Championships. I do want to say, bear with me, I actually got a new phone this week, about halfway through the week. So that's the reason why you're not seeing day 1 and day 2 lifting. Also, I'm working on a new video editor, so kind of bear with me. I'm learning the ropes here. But yeah, so day 1 and 2, those were pretty solid. Day 1, we stepped it up on the safety bar squats, went up to 580 pounds for sets of 5. Those are definitely starting to tax me, and I'm feeling it at the end of the week. And then we had snatch grip deadlifts, which went nice and smoothly. Same thing with bench. Hit some triples at 415 pounds at a solid RPE 7. So very happy with how bench is moving. And then now on to what you've seen. I had a bit of a deload in my RDLs this week. I was really needing it. Those have been taxing me a lot. So backed it off to 525 for sets of 8, and then my tempo bench was 365 pounds for a 500 tempo, 4 sets of 4 for that one. Now here we are on to my heaviest day of the entire prep. So this is done about 13 days out here. You'll see some of my squat warm-ups. I had to work up to a single at 9. So here, this will be the closest I get to meet day jumps. And overall, I'm pretty happy with where I am. I'm quite fatigued. I can feel it. My body weight's in a good spot. I weighed in at 124.7 this morning before this training session. So a good 2 kilos lighter than I was at this point before nationals. And I think for that reason, I'm holding on to a little bit more fatigue because I've been in that caloric deficit. Everything moved pretty well up until this 675. It got a little funky. Overall, I had like this weird, I think I was wearing my belt too low on my warm-ups, and I got this pinch on this set kind of up under my rib, and it got in my head a little bit. I just moved my belt up, and as we'll see after this, so here it didn't move poorly. 675, it was fine. 720 was where I ever so slightly moved my belt up. That's going to be the next set here, and I was not super happy with how that rep moved. Geez, it took me forever to turn off the camera. I should have clipped that. Oh well, we're rolling with it. Here's 720, and overall, it felt okay. My plan for the day was to get into the 750 to 755 range. After this rep, I loaded up 745, and then I was like, no, I'll be fine. Threw on the extra 5 to do 750. And as you can see, it wasn't super slow. It was just kind of funky as far as positioning goes. And I think that was a little bit of the belt mishap, little bit of definitely feeling fatigued. You can always tell when I'm fatigued because whenever I'm finishing the squat, instead of just pushing my hips through, I drift forward and then use my quads to kind of just stand it up. And that's kind of a sign there. But the good news is with adrenaline, so you see me on meet days, I'm a little all over the place getting hyped up. In training, I don't actually tap into that a whole lot. So for this rep, I turned it on, and I think 750 moved better than the 720 prior. So overall, pretty happy with that. Lots of room to spare, and gives me some good momentum leading into the meet where I can see, there's definitely weight to be put on top of that number. Then I had back downs at 655 pounds. It was a 2x2. So nice and easy. You can see as always, I got stuck on the rack, and instead of doing the smart thing and putting it back, I kind of windmilled it out. It was fine. No big problem. You can see these are moving well. But yeah, moving on to bench here. Same thing, a single at 9, and then I had back down doubles. So starting at 445 pounds, this weight's getting more and more comfortable by the week. And I was very happy with my pauses on this day. So 445 is moving quite fast. I think that'll probably be around my opener if I had to guess. And then moving up, we took a 20-pound jump to 465. This was my top single from last week. With my goal for this week, I was hoping for somewhere between 475 and 480. So I went ahead and went 465, hoping to make a 20-pound jump and then a 15. Once again, much better pause than last week. Moved very solid. I am dropping some fatigue in my upper body, so that's some good news as well. And then I decided to be conservative and take the 10-pound jump instead of the 15. I don't think there's anything I really need to prove by hitting the 480 here. And I was just sure to be diligent with a solid pause. And looking back to my prep for nationals, this is what I hit on this day, except it was basically a touch and go rep and it didn't move as well. So I'm excited, especially with this lower body weight with how bench is moving. I think we can definitely pull out a PR bench day maybe. So here are the back downs. It was doubles at 445. I kind of regulated that down. I know it was supposed to be 5 kilos less than my top single, but honestly, with how beat up I'm feeling, I tapered it back a little bit more just to play it safe. I don't think I need that extra work, and that's something, in the past, whenever I've trained with Bill in person, we've had these heavy days. We've just called those back down sets completely. So I know he's totally okay with kind of regulating some of those back down sets depending on how I'm feeling. And that's just a luxury of having trained together for so long and being as experienced as I am. I do want to convey it to you all that that's not something I suggest as far as I would stick to your program to a T, especially if you are not extremely experienced as a lifter. Trust your coach. But that's kind of the repertoire we are at. He trusts me to regulate and kind of lower those weights as needed. Here are my deadlift warm-ups. So you can see, I will say, I've warned you before, I'm not going to post my top set of deadlift. I'll tell you, it went very well, so I'm happy with how it was moving. I will show you some of my warm-ups and then my reps to back down though. So let's see, working up to 680. This was one of my last warm-ups. It wasn't my last one. But as you can see, it moved a whole lot better than even last week. And post a 750-pound squat and all of those back downs, I'm very happy with how deadlift was moving this day. And then my back downs were doubles with 685. So here we are. It was not too long ago this was close to an all-time best set of 2. So to be hitting these extremely fatigued for doubles. As I mentioned in my video yesterday, I treat this day like a full meet, so it was a whole day in the gym. I was probably in there 4.5 hours and, it was blistering hot. I was soaked by the end of it, but that'll get me ready for Cayman Islands. So that'll do it. Wraps up my heaviest week of training. I appreciate you all hanging around and following along with the journey. I'll probably post one more update video before I fly out to the Cayman Islands this coming Sunday. As always, please like and subscribe. And until next time, happy lifting.